Hello everyone, welcome to Sade's Tarot Tea. So today guys, I wanted to do a channeling reading on the very great Robin Williams. I've been wanting to do this reading on him for a very long time, but wasn't sure when the right time was, and I wanted to make sure that Robin was okay with me reading on him, because, you know, of course, like, we have to respect people that have long gone and passed, you know what I mean, guys? So I have a picture of Robin, you know, that I'm staring at. Sorry, his energy's kind of already coming towards me. I asked if he was okay with me pulling on him, and he said he is okay with me pulling on him. But one thing that he wants me to know very clearly with the Emperor in the upright is that he's very, very protective over his daughter. His daughter, I believe her name is Zelda, and she's coming through already in his energy, so he wants me to make it very known and apparent that he cares a lot about her. And there are some boundaries that Robin is saying I cannot overstep. So we'll go ahead and listen more into that, what that is. I want to respect him, and, you know, I want to know, like, what happened, and if he wants to get into that. I want to know about his personality. Obviously, we know that Robin was very funny, and he was a great guy. He was very lighthearted, very funny. But he's actually already showing me another side of him, guys, that a lot of people didn't know about. That, of course, you know, from the outside world looking at, like, trying to look in, we could not know these things. But he's already showing me this other side of him that a lot of people didn't know, you know. And so we're gonna go ahead and get into that with Robin. He's already talking to me, and he said it's okay, I can pull on him. So let's go ahead and get started. And yeah, so if you guys would like to book a personal reading with me, please email me at sadestarottea@yahoo.com. Please keep in mind, guys, that it will take me a minute. I've been really busy with other things in my life right now currently, so I'm not ignoring anyone. I just have to take care of, you know, some other work stuff that I want to get into. But yeah, I hope you guys understand. And also I want to say, if you would like to keep rocking with me, please subscribe to my channel at, you know where, the subscribe button down there, Sade's Tarot Tea. So okay guys, let's go ahead and get started. So one thing that Robin is telling me is he doesn't want this reading to be completely depressing. Like, he is making that very clear to me. Like, he's already telling me that. One thing he said to me very quickly was, I don't want this reading to be very depressing. Like, I don't want it to be sad. Like, yes, my life was sad at times, and my ear just rang. Yeah. Okay, sorry guys. He's saying, yes, at times my life was very sad. Yes, at times I had an issue, you know, coming out of addictions I had. There is him talking about too that he had a lot of anger issues that he dealt with, a lot of childhood trauma that he dealt with in his past with his parents, especially his father, is coming through. He's saying to me he had a very overly domineering, aggressive dad, or someone that was like a father figure to Robin. He's saying that as funny as he was, as much as he liked to joke around, he did it as his coping mechanism. And I'm sure, like, a lot of us could see that, you know. Usually comedians do that, you know, when they're in so much pain on the inside, they either go to addictions or they laugh about their pain. I mean, it's not, you know, a psychic reader doesn't have to tell you this, you know what I mean? But Robin is making that very clear to me. He's saying that, you know, he actually didn't expect to have as much success as he did. People knew, Robin is also saying that people knew that he was going to be a child, like, he was going to be I don't know how young he started with acting. I'm not really sure on, sorry guys, some people like to come for me because I don't know stuff. But I think, for me personally, I want to say real quick, I would rather watch a tarot reader that didn't know a lot about someone and just picked up on it than someone that's like, yeah, I know this, but I'm going to say it. You know what I mean? There's some things I know and I say, and I'm very transparent with you guys about that. But with Robin, I really don't know a lot about his life. Like, I am a huge fan of his as far as his movies go, but Robin was very private, you know, about a lot of his personal life, especially with his addictions and his anger. And his anger is coming through very clearly for me. He could also be angry at the way he just took his life. You know, he could be upset that he didn't, you know, think about his daughter in the moment. He's saying to me he regrets that. Okay, that's what he's saying. He's saying, I regret not listening, like not taking my daughter's life into account. Like, how would this affect her, you know? And he's saying that it's very much been scarring for her, and there's a lot of things that his daughter, I'm not going to dive too much into that because that's her business, but there's a lot of things that Robin's saying that he sees his daughter battling that he battled, and he wants to stress that to me. And if Zelda ever came across this reading, your father, I don't know what this means, it's for you, but he's saying some habits that you're picking up, he's noticing. Not that she's not, you know, doing the damn thing, because he's proud of her. I'm not saying he's not proud of her, but he's noticing certain coping mechanisms that she has. It's passed down from him, and he just worries. He worries that it's gonna start affecting her in the long run more so, because there was a lot of things that Robin did. He likes to laugh at a lot of his coping mechanisms. He likes to laugh at a lot of his pain. Even as a young child, he would laugh like at other people's pain. He thought it was funny, or he would try to turn things into a joke. And he's also telling me that although he was very empathetic and he had this warm smile and he had this twinkle in his eye, I'm seeing his like smile, and he's talking to me through this photo I'm looking at. It's so sweet, and I get this very warm energy from him. But also he's saying a lot of times, like, people couldn't see that I was hurting. Like, they couldn't see I was upset. They couldn't see, or they didn't care, you know. It was kind of like, just keep working, you know. And he also, he's saying to me, he developed that mindset at a very young age to just keep working and suppress your emotions. So I want to look at his chart, guys. You know that I like to look at their chart. If you don't like it, that's on you, but this is what I do on my channel. I get into their birth chart because that does tell a lot about a person. Without, it doesn't give them away or their past or anything, but it lets me see their energy more. So I'm gonna go ahead and look at his birth chart, because that's very important. Okay guys, so this makes so much sense, and this is what I'm talking about. Now, interesting, I was getting very Gemini vibes from Robin, but he's not a Gemini, he's a Cancer. Now, Cancer men are one of the most sensitive, and I don't say that to be funny or disrespectful or to make you guys feel, you know, like you're weak, because Cancer men are very strong. But there was a lot of I'm seeing a lot of water in his chart. So he even now, as I'm tapping his energy, guys, and I'm picking up on this photo of him that I'm looking at, I pick up on a lot of sadness and regret, and just a lot of, you know, displaced anger. I hear very displaced anger. And he's got a Mercury in Leo with a Venus in Virgo. So I'm going to put his chart up here because, like I said, that's important. His sun is in Cancer. His moon is in Pisces. Very important when looking at him as well. His Mercury is in Leo. His Venus is in Virgo. His Mars is in Cancer. And his ascendant is in Scorpio. So this really tells me a lot without even pulling cards on Robin, guys. He is also letting me in on making sure that he's okay with it, because like I said, guys, he's very private. He has that Cancerian energy on top of that Scorpio ascendant, but it's on the cusp. So he could be a Sag Scorpio ascendant, or he could be a Libra Scorpio ascendant. Okay, so it depends on which way it goes. I do want to see where his cusp falls. Okay guys, so I'm looking at his ascendant, Robin's ascendant. And if you guys don't know what the ascendant is, for anyone that is new to astrology, basically the ascendant talks about his rising sign, how he projects himself into the world, how he portrays his power, the power he puts into the universe, and how we perceive him. So that's not really what he tries to give off about himself. It's what we see, okay, what he allows us to see. So what I'm picking up is that he is on the cusp of Libra and Scorpio. Okay, guys, so this is very important when looking at this for Robin. He is pointing me to his ascendant. He's saying with his energy, he doesn't know much about, he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about like astrology and all that, but I'm saying his energy is going towards, this is what people saw of me. This is what I wanted people to see of me, is that I was a very funny guy, but I was very likable. Okay, so him having that Scorpio ascendant with that Libra on the cusp of his ascendant, image to him was very important. Image to him was stressed heavily, especially I feel in his childhood. He also has his moon in Pisces, I was seeing as well. He has his moon in Pisces. But him having that Cancerian energy and that Libra Scorpio ascendant, he was in control more than people would think about how people were perceiving his personality. Like his personality and the way he came off to other people was very, very important to him. And that's one of the things that why people fell in love with him so well, is that it was so calculated. Now, I'm not saying that Robin wasn't being his true authentic self. He was, but to some extent, I'm saying, like, there was a boundary that he did not allow people to cross, because I was getting a bit of a block from him, but he's gaining, like, I'm gaining his trust a little bit more, so I'm trying not to pry and let him navigate me. So this whole secret that he has, guys, is that he had a lot of anger. He had a lot of anger, and he didn't want to talk about a lot of his childhood trauma, is what I keep picking up on. And it's very common for Pisces moons to have, or Scorpio moons, Cancer moons, to have a lot of trauma. It's very possible, especially with ascendant in Scorpio and that Cancer, Mars, and in his sun. Okay, so what I mean is, him having so much water, there needed to be a lot of attention going with his mom or his dad. Like, he needed to be fully nurtured. And so what I'm saying is, Robin is telling me that he was not fully nurtured, especially when it came to dealing with his emotions. He would oftentimes black out and get very angry, and he's saying that he regrets a lot of that. He could come off really harsh with his words, especially with his Mercury in Leo. I don't know what house his Mercury falls in, but that would tell me a lot too. So he's saying to me that he would get very upset, very angry, and a lot of people, he did not want people to see him this way. He's like, oh my god, okay, he's getting emotional, I'm sorry guys. He did not want people to see him this way, because he loved that people adored him. He loved that people received him. It was his validation. It warmed his heart. But when he would go home, when he would go involved with his love life, what was his Venus in Virgo? When he would go home, or when he would deal with his love life, or he would deal with his kids, or I don't know if Zelda was his only child. Yeah, he's giving me cards, guys, sorry. So he was saying that he made a lot of enemies behind the scenes as well. You would be surprised, like, a lot of people, Robin is telling me, loved and adored him, but the image of him, like the persona of him, they loved that he could turn, it's like he learned to turn it on and turn it off like a switch. Like, he was like, cool, like when I'm on camera, I'm gonna be this lovable, funny, dorky, just heartwarming guy, but when the cameras go off, I'm this dark, and I'm this depressed person. I'm this angry person that grew up in a home where I was not nurtured. I was not looked after. My emotions, he's a very emotional kid. He's showing me when he was younger too. So I'm going to try to look for photos of Robin when he was young. But he's showing me photos of when he was younger. So I want to try to see if I can pull up a photo of that. He's so cute. Oh my god. This is exactly who I was seeing. This is so cute. I'm going to show you guys right here. I believe this is him. It's saying this is him, so I hope this photo is correct. Sometimes my photos don't come out right because Google will give me the wrong photos. But I'm going to show you this photo that I'm looking at, and it looks like him. So I'm going to go and say that this is him. Okay, guys. So he's pointing me to when he was a young boy. He's saying that he was very emotional. He was very, like, intense, but in a funny way. Like, he would crack jokes a lot, and he was very smart with his mouth. He's telling me, he's like, I was very smart with my mouth, and like my parents, like when I was younger, didn't like that, so they didn't want to deal with me. He's saying they didn't want to deal with me, so they just put me into acting. But I also showed an interest in acting. He showed an interest in acting, but they thought it would be fun to just put him in acting because they were so annoyed of his mouth, which I wouldn't, you know, that makes sense. He has that Mercury in Leo, Venus in Virgo, so and that ascendant in Scorpio. So I'm laughing, guys, because he's showing me how like he would just be like, he would come back with the comebacks like really quick. But he was so like gentle about it at the same time. But when he was younger, he used to be very boisterous, but as he got older, he got a lot more softer in the way he would speak. He would say things like, of course there weren't always times where he would speak very softly, but you know, his demeanor, I mean, was very calm. Even now as I tap it, even though he's angry to some extent, or there was even though he was angry, sorry guys, even though he was angry on this earth, he did not like people seeing that. I cannot stress this enough. He did not like people seeing that side of him because it was scary. It was a scary side of Robin that he did not want people to know, because he was scared that it would tarnish his image. And so because Robin, he's saying, I did not get the proper help, you know, and he's saying I had mental illnesses that were not being dealt with. You know, he even is saying to me that he is very intuitive. Like he's saying he would pick up on voices. Like he's very clairaudient. That makes sense. I mean, he's got all that water in his fucking chart, so I'm not surprised. But he's saying he would pick up on voices, and oh, he's so sweet. He's saying to me, don't let anybody, he's saying to me that he sees how, oh my god, I don't I'm sorry. Robin is telling me that I'm gifted. He's so sweet. He would tell people that all the time. Like, he saw good in people. So even though Robin had this, like, this angry side of him, even though he was upset, it was just like he wanted to be heard. Like, it was like a, I want to be heard. I want to be understood. Because even through childhood, he's telling me that he was never understood. But he was stressing to me about the importance of not letting people feel crazy, because a lot of people made him feel crazy, you know. Even when he was younger, his parents did this a lot. Like, he wanted to believe that his parents were supportive. I don't know much about his parents, guys, but you know, he's saying, I wanted to believe that my parents had my best interest, but they really didn't, you know what I mean? And there was a disconnect with his family. And him having that moon in Pisces, he is stressing to me that he had some addictions. He was addicted. More so, he's saying alcohol, allegedly. He's telling me alcohol. There was experimentation in his, I want to say in his younger days too, but also into adulthood, he did experiment. I'm not going to say what, because allegedly. He's taking me through a lot, but he's saying a lot of anger he had, a lot of built up anger. And he's showing me photos. Like, I keep seeing photos of him. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, guys, is photos of him. He used comedy as a way to block out his depression. And he did a lot of, like, suppressing, especially with a Mars in a Mars in Cancer. Having his Mars in Cancer was very rough on him, guys. Very rough on him, because he didn't know who to turn to. He didn't know who to trust. And when he didn't, he would get explosive. And, you know, you guys may not, you know, you may not believe me with this, because, again, this is a side of Robin that was very, very tough to talk about, you know. I don't know if he's talked about this in interviews. He's saying sometimes he led to certain things about his childhood, or he'll, like, talk about things, and there's been documentaries on him, but he feels like a lot of people didn't really understand his traumas. A lot of people didn't understand his anger. And, you know, he just keeps touching on his anger. He's also telling me that there was a lot of deception and envy around him. Like I said, he was not trusting of a lot of people. Yeah. A lot of people, surprisingly, like I said, you would be surprised, although there was a lot of people that loved Robin, there was a lot of people that could not stand him. And this was because he was so good at what he did. Like, he was so good at his comedic timing. He's not saying this, I am. He's, like, being all quiet about it. But, like, you know, I'm feeling this from his energy and other people's energy around him. Like, you know, he wasn't good at, one, bragging about himself. He never bragged about himself. He was very humble. So even though I am feeling this anger from him, it was anger of his trauma, his past, his childhood, of not learning how to channel that emotion in a healthy way, which is very detrimental to water signs, guys. Like, if you have a water sign child, please nurture them. Nurture their emotions. If they have water in their chart, look at where the water is in their chart. Every child needs to be nurtured, but especially water sign children, because they're the ones that take it the hardest. You know, they don't bounce back as easily as, like, I'd say an earth sign or a fire sign. Even an air sign. Air signs, you know, they let things go. They let things roll off their back. I'm not saying that things ever hurt them, but they learn to do that very fast, much faster than a water sign. Water signs hold and absorb like sponges, and Robin is stressing that to me. He's saying that everything someone did to him, all the things that people did to him, he never forgot. Like, he had a memory like an elephant, basically. Like, he's saying that to me. I did not think of that. Robin is saying he had a memory like an elephant. Okay. Yeah, he's saying I had a memory like an elephant. Like, I remembered everything. 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 So we're gonna see if he wants to talk about it, guys, about his passing. And then I want to give a message for his daughter. He's also telling me that even though he was very sweet, he could be a dick. Like, he could be an asshole. Like, at the way he would joke with people, he's saying he knew how to get them below the belt. Like, he knew how to say things to people to just, like, push their buttons. And he's saying he kind of had a sick obsession with this. Like, like, he's saying this is something that he never liked to tell people, but it was kind of like, he had this, like this thing about, like, oh, I like to make people laugh, but I also like to piss people off. Like, a lot of my friends will tell you, like, oh, Robin's not that nice, like, all the time. Like, oh, what? Like, you know how people go, this person, this guy, this girl? Robin's like, I'm hearing Robin go, my friends would be like, this guy? Robin? Oh, you're talking about Robin. Robin, the sweet guy? Okay. Which is very Cancer. Cancers do have this dark side, very dark side, cynical. Cancers can be very cynical and pessimistic, but they hide it. If you don't know them well, they hide it. He's trying to keep it very light, guys. I'm asking him if it's okay to pull on the day if it's okay to talk about the day he passed, if he's okay with that. And he's saying yeah, but he's trying to keep it very light. He's trying to be, like, funny about it. Not like he's taking it not seriously, because it was a very dark time in his life, but it's a time that he's saying he's moved past. Like, he's like, I've moved past it, but basically he's saying to me, I was obviously in a very dark moment in my life. He was feeling like his career was not doing well. Like, interesting. Like, he like, people were saying to him, oh, you know, Robin, what's your next big move? What's your next big, you know, your next big movie? What are you gonna do next? Like, what happened? You know, it was like that energy of what happened is what I'm getting. He took it as, it's not saying, he's saying, now I understand, they were just curious. Like, he didn't take criticism very well, is what he's saying to me. So when people came up to him and they were so excited, like, there was a lot of reflection on his past movies and his past success, is what I'm saying. And he felt like he always had to outdo himself. So not only did he have this trauma from being a young kid and being thrusted into the life he was thrusted into, but also, you know, and he believes he chose this life. Interesting. He's saying, yeah, I believe I chose this life. And he's saying, actually, Sade, I would relive this life again. He was like, it was very rewarding. See, he does not want me to focus on the negative. He does not. He does not want this reading to be super, super duper negative. But, so I'm going to try to respect Robin. If he steers me away more from it, then you know, of course, like, I will. But I'll respect what he wants. Okay. So Robin's saying, like, he definitely was going through a lot of dark energy in his mind. And like I said, guys, he was very intuitive. So he's saying, too, that he would hear voices. He's not really happy on talking about this because he would try to open up to people about this. Now, I'm not saying he was schizophrenic. I'm not diagnosing him. So I'm not going to say that. But I'm going to say that he was very clairaudient. Like, he could hear spirits. He could hear ghosts. And he's saying that kind of played into it too. Like, there was, so, okay. He's trying to move past this. Like, he doesn't like talking about it. Okay. So what I'm getting, guys, now I'm interpreting from spirit, okay? So I'm trying my best. But, so basically Robin is saying that a lot of times people would reflect on his past. Like, all these great movies he did. And I feel like he was still doing good. But it's not about what I think. He was like, I don't think I was at a place. I wasn't stable. I was drinking. I was, living in my demons. I was living in my past. I was living in my childhood. I was acting, he didn't feel like he was a good father to Zelda. Like, he didn't feel like his marriage was successful. All these things that he wanted for himself as a Cancer man, as a comedic, happy person, it's like deep down he was not happy. And this stemmed from a childhood trauma that he had with his father, is what he's saying to me. And seeing his mother go through things too, but his relationship to his mom even. And not getting fully nurtured. So he's saying, I did not know how to nurture these emotions, these traumas, these demons that I had. And I tried to self-diagnose myself. I tried to laugh things off. I tried to, he said there were times I did get help. I did go to people. I did talk. But he's like, I don't really believe in therapists. He's like, it's all about the mind. It's all about the emotional power you have over yourself and the emotional clarity you gain from yourself, he's saying to me. Sorry guys, he's getting intense. Oh my god. So he's saying too as well that it was a lot of battling he did with himself on top of people comparing him to his past. And he was self-diagnosing himself. He was drinking. He was angry. He was upset. And so what led to that is the shadow card came out as well, saying that he did not want to deal or confront his demons in a healthier way and go into a peaceful energy. Now, the Solitude card, guy, is telling me that he took his life. Okay, that card is ringing out to me. He's saying, I took my life. Like, solitude. Like, I wanted it to stop. I wanted the demons in my head to stop. I wanted the voices to stop. I wanted to not think about it anymore. On how I was a bad father. On how I wasn't doing the best I could have possibly done. He's like, it was this added on pressure that I continuously put on myself. He's like, being in the spotlight is not fun. He's like, being in the spotlight, you think, oh, it's so glamorous. He's like, I try to tell kids that come up to me. He's showing me, like, people coming up to him, like, oh my god, I loved you in this movie, and I grew up watching you. He's like, when they would say, what advice do you have for anyone wanting to get in this, this industry? He'd look them dead in the eyes, and he would be like, be careful, but don't do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm seeing him say. Like, his eyes would say, don't do it, but he would say, be careful, know who the right people to connect with, and just have fun. Like, he's like, remember to have fun with it, and the minute you're not having fun, you need to walk away, basically, is what he would say. But in his eyes, guys, I'm sorry, I'm not making this clear, he would say, don't do it. Because he was like, it's like he loved acting, he loved doing what he loved doing it, and it's like shocking to me, because like, you see him in these movies and he's just like he's so happy, and he's so like, he put on this happy persona and this happy face, and he was like, yeah, I was acting, like, I loved acting, but it became not fun anymore. It became not fun when I started dealing with my demons were catching up to me, is what he's saying. And he said he couldn't do it anymore. He said he had some really bad episodes, and he's showing me, he's not letting me see, of course, the moment, but he's letting me feel that energy. And it's like, he's trying to keep it light, like I said, but he said, I just didn't, he's like, the last thought that I had was my daughter, like the last thought. But yeah, wow, guys, I'm surprised I'm not crying. This is, oh god, oh my god, now I am gonna cry. Hey guys, I just wanted to interrupt real quick because you guys may be wondering about this, but I am fully aware, like I've been posting throughout the reading, that Robin had other kids. And I knew about Zelda being his daughter, but I didn't go into this reading with just thinking about her. But when I, tapped and felt Robin's energy, I kept hearing Zelda's name. And so I only know about Zelda because of Jojo, the singer. They are best friends. And I just kept hearing Zelda's name when I would, tap that energy. So I don't know if he was just very close to Zelda, or, like I stated in the reading, he saw a lot of himself in her. So I don't know if that was the reason, but I just want to clarify, you guys, that he loves his other two kids, like his two boys. He does love them, but for some reason I kept hearing Zelda. So, but this does not take away from the fact that he loves his family. And also, I was picking up on, he had problems with his marriage, but he had with marriage. And I learned in an interview that he got married 3 times. And he stated that. So I just want to make that very clear, that just because I said a message for Zelda, that doesn't mean that he doesn't love his other children. Okay, so I just want to make that very clear. I just, for some reason, kept hearing Zelda and not his other 2 boys. So, anyway, back to the reading. Hope you guys enjoy. So, the first card that I got, he wants me to stress memories of love about his daughter. He loves you, Zelda. He wants me to speak to you. He's saying he loves you, Zelda. He's saying you're gonna go so far. He sees so much of himself in you. He wants you to only think about the moments that you guys shared laughing and the fun moments you guys had together. He doesn't want you to, he's hoping you don't think badly of him. He's hoping that he didn't, of course, leave a bad taste in your mouth of any way of what a father was. He's saying that he's not forgiving himself for leaving you, but God is helping him to gain clarity, gain closure. Okay, so conflict and defeat. He wants you to understand that his demons were his demons, and he had a really hard time overcoming those things. Like, it feels like he feels like each time he tried to defeat it, he would get knocked back down. A lot of times he's saying that he felt like the world was against him, but he wanted to shield you of that pain as well. And he never wanted to stop your blessings. He never wanted you to make you feel like you can't do it. He's saying don't base your success off of his. He's being very hard on himself, guys. He's saying to her, like, it's like we all see that Robin accomplished so many things, but in his mind, it's interesting, guys. Like, Robin is really hard on himself. Like, he feels like I'm not saying that he doesn't acknowledge a lot of his accomplishments, but sometimes, like a lot of times, it's that cancer. It's hard for him to be like, yeah, I did that. You know what I mean? It's hard for him to pat himself on the back, and he doesn't want his daughter to do that. He doesn't want his daughter to not raise herself up and be a strong woman. She is a strong woman, and he sees that, and he doesn't want anybody to make her feel like she is not that person. She's not a strong woman. He's very proud of her. I don't know if Zelda is into film, if she's doing film, like if she's behind the scenes, if she does, if she were, what's the word, if she's directing is what I mean. I think if Zelda's directing, he's saying he sees her directing, or she's going to be a great director, her director. And I only know her name, guys, because Jojo is like best friends with her. So, Jojo from RV, and she did I want to see if Robin has any messages for Jojo. I'm really curious about that. So let's see if he'll say anything. He wants to keep it about his daughter right now, though. His daughter, I do know, is a Leo, and he loves how creative she is and how strong she is. And he's saying when you get knocked down, he's saying when you get knocked down, get back up. He's saying don't let anybody stop you. Get back up. Get back up. That's what he's saying. He's so cute. I'm reassuring him he's a good dad, but he's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. He's like, I'm not. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna legit cry, guys. This is too much. Okay. Suffering and silence came out in the in the reverse, guys, sorry. On top of conflict and defeat. So Robin is saying that he doesn't want Zelda to suffer in silence the way he did. He's saying, I suffered in silence. I don't want you to suffer in silence. I don't want you to be this way. Like, I don't want you to be the way I was. I want you to learn from my mistakes. I want you to get help if you feel, because, okay, I'm picking up on that Zelda has some mental health issues sometimes, or I don't want to diagnose her, but I'm picking up on she has some type of, I don't know if Robin suffered from, I know he has mental health issues, but like if she has bipolar disorder, or if she has, you know, that's mainly what I'm hearing, bipolar. Or anxiety. She deals with something. I feel it. It could be because of him passing, but literally, guys, it's genetic. It's something that he's saying that she picked up from him. Okay, guys, so he is worried about that, and he's saying don't suffer in silence, get help. And I feel like Zelda is doing that, so I feel like he doesn't have to worry, but he just worries that she's not gonna keep up with it. He wants her to keep up with it. Positive movement forward. He wants her to keep moving forward. This is so beautiful. He wants her to learn from him, transform, and he wants her to be her own legacy, which I think is so beautiful, because oftentimes, guys, like, parents, like, put themselves in us a lot. Like, they are always like, be like me, be like me, be like me. But Robin is like, no, like, I want you to be your own person. Start your own legacy. That's what I heard. Like, start your own legacy. You don't have to be who I was. Like, he's not giving himself enough credit, but he doesn't want Zelda to go down his path. But Zelda is not seeing it that way. You know, Robin is just being very hard on himself. I'm telling him that, you know, his daughter, what I'm picking up from her energy is that she looks up to him, like, so much. And she doesn't even think about, like, the bad moments they had, like, or when he was unstable, or, yeah, it's like in the moment it hurt, but she's not holding it over him. But he's not, like, he's having a hard time, like, coming to terms with that. She's not thinking about it like that, you know what I mean? But he wants her to continue to move forward, and he sees so many good things coming up for her, guys. He sees her working on this really big movie, and he's so proud of her. So I don't know if she's trying to act, or she's trying to be a director, or she's a director, but I'm hearing something like that. So either Zelda's getting into acting, or she's going in, or she went to film school or something, and she's heavily into it. But Zelda wants to commemorate his memory. Like, she wants to do a movie based on him as well, on watching her dad grow up and be this really cool comedian. Like, she loves her dad. Like, it's so cute. Also, he wants her to not isolate herself. That's the main thing he's saying to me, is make sure that you say this, Sade. Like, he doesn't want her to isolate herself. Like, he wants her to like make friends, get out there, talk about her emotions, be a voice, because he felt like his voice was like silenced. He felt like, and not only that, but I feel like his team told him to shut up. Like, I feel like a lot of people around him that worked for him told him to not talk about it. And so now Robin's just like, no, like, I want my daughter to talk about it. I want her kids to talk about it. I want her man to talk about it. Her woman to talk about it, whatever. Like, he is like, he wants Zelda to be happy. So I don't know if Zelda's fluid. That doesn't matter. But he said woman, so. But he wants her to, be confident in who she's becoming and not to be like him. He keeps stressing that. He wants her to do better than he did, you know? So this is so beautiful. Oh my God. So beautiful. He does not want her to, he dealt with a lot of his trauma and his pain in silence, his anger in silence, and he's saying he does not want Zelda to do that, you know? Wow, Robin, this is intense. Okay, so I asked, does Robin have any messages for Jojo, because Jojo worked very closely with him on RV, and I feel like they really, you know, had a bond, and like, Jojo seriously feels like another daughter to him. Like, she feels like someone he really took under his wing and, like, cared about, like, as a father figure, because Jojo's, if you know anything about Jojo's life, her dad really wasn't there a lot. So Jojo, I feel from her energy, looked up to him, and when he passed, she was beside herself. Like, she was like, oh my God. And she took on a lot of that guilt too, of not being there for Robin, which she shouldn't blame herself, you know, because Robin's like, no, Robin doesn't want Jojo to blame herself. He's saying that first and foremost. He's saying, don't blame yourself for anything you could have done for me. He's saying, even with his daughter too, he's saying, there was nothing. Like, I suffered in my own silence. Like, I didn't want help. I didn't want help, you know. I wanted to take my own life. It was my choice. He's saying, it was my choice. I'm owning and taking, you know, responsibility for my own actions, you know. he's saying that, make that very clear, because I guess Jojo still not blames herself, but she feels like it was her responsibility to look after, or it was her responsibility to look after Zelda's dad. You know what I mean? So yeah, because he did so much for her. She felt he did so much for her, and he gave her so many kind words, so much good advice. But he's saying the waiting game and the truth card came out. Both are in the reverse, saying that Jojo is still going. He's anticipating that Jojo will go through more legal actions. I have already said this about Jojo, I guess, like with her contract or something else is coming up for Jojo, but he wants her to be smarter. It could maybe be something else, but he wants her to be smarter about working with people, because there's still people around her that he doesn't like around her. And this isn't like, oh, you know, him being rude to Jojo is not. He's just being a very strong father figure to her. But he wants her to speak up more and speak about what happened to her, because he was there. He's saying to me, I was there when they were mistreating her. Like, I saw everything that happened, that she let me see, of course, like, and that she could talk about. Like, he was a father to her, guys. I don't think we understand how close they are, but he's saying that she opened up a lot about what she could and all the things she went through even before he passed. She opened up. But there was a period where they kind of lost touch, but it, you know, it happened, and they're not, you know, they're not mad at each other for it, but there is some guilt on his end about that. Like, he wanted to be there for her more, and he enjoyed the time that they had together. Like, he enjoyed mentoring her as, you know, a father figure. He enjoyed loving her and understanding her story and her mother's story. So I am picking up on that as well, that they had really good moments, but he wants her to speak out more. He's making that very clear to me, like, speak out more about what happened to you. Speak out more. There needs to be more women and representation about women being mistreated in the industry. And he's like, you know what I'm talking about. He's saying, she knows what I'm talking about. And he's looking at me like this. You know? So he's saying more representation. More representation. She needs to speak out more. He's saying she needs to speak out more. Throat chakra came out, and the way men would treat her, the way she was treated in the industry. He's like, it was disgusting. It was disgusting, and she's not talking about it. I'm like, I don't think she can. He's like, she needs to find a way. She needs to talk about it, because it's disgusting. You know, he's saying that. And I didn't know this, guys. I didn't know this. Robin is literally telling me this. Maternal harvest in the reverse. Rest and rejuvenate. In the upright, he's seeing her worry about money or building a family or a foundation. He feels like she worries a lot, and he's saying it's gonna come. He's like, it's gonna come when it happens. You will love it. It's gonna be great. I don't know if Robin spoke like that. That's what he's like, you're gonna love it. It's gonna be great. It will happen when it's supposed to. He's like, you kids are always rushing nowadays. You kids are always rushing into relationships. He's like stressing that to her. I don't know if he stressed that to her when she was younger too, because, you know, she was singing about very mature things. So he didn't like that. But he was like, you kids are always rushing into relationships. He's like, you guys are always like, it's like you guys are running out of time. Like, you're not. You know, things are supposed to happen when they happen. You know, he was a big believer of that. God. So the main message too that Robin was saying to me is that anybody that is struggling with mental health issues or anxiety, or you feel different, or you feel misunderstood, he's saying to me to leave with this message, because I'm gonna let him go. But he's saying to me that you are not crazy for how you feel. You are just as valuable as any celebrity. So he's saying, guys, anybody that has a dream, he's saying go for that dream, but be smart about that dream. He's saying you guys are just as valuable as any celebrity. He's like, don't let anybody demean your energy. Don't let anybody demean your worth, and work through your traumas. He's saying work through your traumas, laugh more, have fun with life. And he understands, like, as well, you know, a lot of people that have passed are seeing what we're going through. He's saying, like, just know that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. It's something that he had a hard time seeing. You know, he did, not just his daughter, he doesn't want any of us to make the same mistake he did. And work through your traumas, work through your issues. You know, don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You know, that's the biggest thing. He's saying, you're not crazy. And he was telling me too about, he was so sweet. He was saying, I don't know if I finished this thought, but he was saying that I'm gifted. And he was reading me, guys. He was like, I feel like people think you're, like, they misunderstand you all the time. And I was like, yeah, you know, like, we kind of had that moment intuitively. And then I just was like focusing on what else he said. But thank you so much, Robin, for speaking to me, for allowing me into your energy. I had a really nice time in your energy, although it was sad at times. Thank you for keeping it light and fun, and, you know, being that light, and for everything you've done, Robin. We love you and respect you, and we appreciate you, and I send you back into the light. Thank you so much for coming through. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Spirit Guides, for allowing me to receive that message and to be a mouthpiece for him, and to be a mouthpiece for my Spirit Guides and protector. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading on Robin. I hope it wasn't too, you know, discombobulated. I had a really good time reading on him, even though it was sad, but he tried his best to keep it very light, which, you know, I wouldn't have minded if it wasn't, you know. He was so considerate. He didn't want to drain me. It was so sweet. So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Like I said, if you guys would like to book a personal reading with me, please email me at shadestarot@yahoo.com. And if you would like to subscribe to my channel, please hit that subscribe button down below. I hope you guys have a good day or night. Please be kind to one another. Love and light, everyone. Namaste. Bye.